All right. Hey, Alan, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good too. It's good to see you, and thank you for being on the episode tonight. Thank you for being live tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been good. Yeah, how you been, man?
Everything's been great. The this last kind of pandemic has been a little anxious ridden. There's been more people on around me in and around us that have gotten it, whereas the first time around, I really didn't know anybody.
Mm, yeah.
But so Alan, as you know, and for the folks that are listening in, tonight's episode is a gratitude episode, and I thought it was fitting to end the year 2020 as as having a gratitude episode because we can all think of something we hated about 2020,
Mm,
and it's great that we can look back and pull things out about 2020 that we're grateful for. So, thank you, Alan, for being here on the segment, and thank you all who are out there listening.
yeah, my pleasure. And hey to everybody.
Hello, Mr. MTB Alan. Um, well, I had a couple questions, Alan, that I had. So I'm gonna go to my notes because I just thought this would be fun. Normally, I just kind of free flow a lot of these things, but today
Hmm.
I'm like, gratitude sometimes, especially this year, is going to have to be more purposeful driven so that we can pull good gratitude out.
Yeah,
Um, so, Alan, if you don't mind, I will go ahead and start into the questions. And for the folks
sure.
out there that are watching, this definitely is a audience participation highly recommended show. So feel free to chat away and type in anything that you have. So we're going to start with this. What three things are you grateful for in 2020?
Hmm. Do you want me to start?
Yeah, you
'Cause you're
go
gonna answer these
first.
too, right?
I am. I'm on the hook as well. I'm in the hot seat.
Okay,
Obi-Wan
cool.
Toadi's in the house. Says, "What's up, guys?"
Hey, what's up? Why don't we'll go, we want to like ping pong this. I'll start and then you'll go next.
Yeah, that sounds
Okay.
good.
All right. So it's hard because you said three, which always means you have to prioritize.
Ooh.
Because there's been a lot of things. I know it's been, and that's actually kind of, I think the fact that this year has been different and tough has made me be more conscious of what I'm grateful for.
Mm.
Um, and I think one of those things is going to be my wife. I gotta give it to her first because you know we uh we've been spending a lot of time together in the house, and sharing space and having that much close space with each other. Things can get tense,
Hmm.
and the fact that I think we're both really conscious of BS. Everybody has our own BS. And I think kind of what happens in relationships a lot, and this is like with friends, this is, with whomever, colleagues, but specifically with your significant other,
Yeah.
it's really easy to like mix your BS with their BS. And
So true.
yeah, one thing that she and I have become really good at, and I think she was kind of this way start coming into it, into our relationship, was like knowing whose BS was whose BS, you
Mm.
know.
Hmm.
And so like yeah, that's my number one thing that I'm grateful for.
Oh man! Shout out to Kelly, Kelly
Yeah,
and Kelly and
MTB
Reed,
Kelly.
MTB Kelly. That is great. Of course, you'd have to put the wife out there. So now I have to think what I'm gonna say.
Well, you only have one choice now.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, Abby, are you watching? I would say in 2020 that I would also go down the same road. My wife Abby, since I moved up to Murrieta from San Diego, she has been always saying, "You should get a mountain bike. You should get a mountain bike. This is the
Mm,
time. We're up here now. Surf is down there. You can mountain bike and you can drive to surf, but you can mountain bike every day up here. It doesn't matter the
mm,
conditions, the swell size, the the wind direct, and none of that matters. You can get on your bike and go." So I have to definitely say I'm grateful for my wife as well, Miss Abby, who always pushed me to get a mountain bike. And when my son finally said, "Hey, I want to get a mountain bike, Dad, we should get one," I called Abby from the bike shop and I said, "Hey, they've got a bike here. We can get 2 bikes. Is it okay to spend that kind of money?" And she didn't even hesitate. She said, "Absolutely. It's about time."
That's
So,
rad.
yeah. So we both got very supportive gals.
Yeah,
I say we married up, Alan.
I think we did. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
um, Obi-Wan Todi says, "I'm grateful that I started mountain biking. Thank you, COVID."
Yeah,
Uh,
nice. Hey, welcome
yeah,
to the sport, Obi-Wan Todi.
yeah.
It's one of the best sports. I think it's the best one, honestly. And this is coming from it's funny I say that because like I immediately got scared because I was a skateboarder for so long. Like that was what I did, and I loved it. But I have to say, like the mountain biking, yeah.
Yeah.
What's up, Joey Yates?
Yo, Pacific Yeti, what's up, big dog? Good
Yeah.
to see you. Dude,
Okay.
I got a
Go ahead.
chance to ride with Joey this last week, and
Yeah, I saw
man,
that.
he's awesome. Such a good
Yeah.
dude. Rad guy. Thanks for being on, Joey. And
Yeah.
John Dubia, we see you too, man. What's
John
going
W.
on, buddy? John W.
Yeah.
Thank you for being on. All right, Alan, you're back in the hot seat for what you're
Back in
grateful
the
for.
hot.
Number two.
This one is pretty easy. It's the community, the mountain biking community, and I would say specifically the mountain bike community that I have connection to via the YouTube channel. I know, maybe I don't mean this to be a flex, but like, when there was so much isolation going on, being able to put out a video and have people respond to it and give me comments and interact with the content was really helpful for me. Um, I'd come back from this injury and had already felt some level of, actually a pretty high level of isolation, like not being on the trail, not being able to interact with my fellow mountain bikers through the bike,
Mm,
and I was having to kind of use the YouTube channel for that during
mm,
those periods of weeks where I just wasn't riding. So, that's kind of the same thing through, you know, being isolated. But then also like when I would see people on the trail, just kind of meeting people, like that's always rad, and it makes me really grateful.
man, and that's something you're so for the folks who don't know Alan, I've had the privy to become his friend and have gone on a couple rides, handful of rides with Alan. And the one thing I can tell you guys is he is the same guy on and off the screen.
I don't know.
And
I think my goofiness level is higher, like off screen.
off screen, yeah.
Yeah, I don't do
I
that on purpose.
I think there was one where I was getting ready to take a shot at you, and you're like, "Hold on a second, let me tuck in my tummy real quick."
Yeah. Let me suck in my gut.
Let me suck in my gut.
Let me
But
suck
I
in my
mean,
COVID-19.
but I mean, everything about you, like your personality, who you are, talking to you, and knowing you as a friend, is the same person that we see. So I think that's awesome, and I admire the way that you greet people out on the trails. I mean, people are, your channel is growing, and everybody recognizes you when we go out.
Hmm.
I think we were at Vale, and you hadn't even yet parked the truck. And you were just happened to roll down the window. You're parking the truck, and already it was like, "Hey, is that Alan? MTB Alan's here." And it was pictures, but I admire the way you're so humble about it, and you get out and you meet them, and you talk to them and take pictures and everything. It's awesome.
Yeah. Well, it's my people, right? We're all mountain bikers, and I just happen to have a channel, but I also know like having a channel and having a bunch of subscribers says nothing about my ability on the trail. There's plenty of people that can teach me a lot on the trail. So, yeah,
Yeah.
you're in the hot seat now.
I am number two, and Trail Dogs are on here. What's up, Trail Dogs? Good to see you,
Yo yo.
Aaron. Yeah, we got it's Aaron, Nate, Isaiah, and Austin in the house. Thanks for being here, guys. So okay, number two, the number two thing that I am grateful for. So definitely we got the wives, so that was good. But that's true, because if it's not for them, we don't even get to get out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a balance, and it's a team. So that was number one. Both Alan and I said why is for number one. Number two, Alan said the community that he interacts with. I'm gonna say because of the pandemic and starting mountain biking, I'm grateful to glean creativity out of this year. And I'll expand on that a little bit more. Creativity in the sense of just learning how this whole YouTube thing works, learning how to take a GoPro and what angles to shoot, or how to even attach the thing to your helmet. Thanks to your episode with the Sugru, that was a lot. So in a year that everything was supposed to be more muted and shut down, I felt myself growing through creativity through mountain biking. And I'd say creativity is my number two.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Number three. This is pretty blanket, and it's probably pretty obvious, but I've got to agree with Obi-Wan Todi that I'm grateful for mountain biking. Um, Being able to get outside, get some stress relief after, working from home, staring at computers all day, getting out there, getting adrenaline rush, mashing on the pedals and suffering up the hills. Being able to see people and like interact with people from either from a distance or like people that are within my circle, and going and riding with them. That's been so awesome. I can't imagine what it would have been like if I didn't have mountain biking this year. And like I said before, I'm a lifelong skater, although not really skateboarding anymore. That's kind of the broader reason I'm grateful for mountain biking, because it checks so many of the boxes that skateboarding used to check for me, and then checked a bunch of boxes that I needed to check that I didn't know I needed to check, that skateboarding didn't check.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Anyway, so that's my number three.
that's very
I
cool.
know it's so obvious. So, yeah.
Obi-Wan Todi, you're in good company, buddy. Yeah, speaking of, you're regular footed, right?
I'm on the bike or on the board.
On the board.
I'm goofy on the board
You are goofy on the board.
and regular on the bike.
Wow.
Yeah, it's weird.
So for the folks that are listening in, goofy foot on a skateboard is right foot forward, right foot in the front, and on a bike, is it the same way? Right pedal
Yeah.
forward?
Yeah. I do wonder if I had started riding regular foot, if I would have been a better skateboarder. Like if you, I don't know, if you watch me skate, if you ever see footage of me skating, my back hand is doing a lot of work. It's always all over the place. So I don't know. Anyway.
I'll have to go back to that video. For those of you who want to check that out, go to Alan's YouTube channel and
no.
go
Don't
back
do
deep
that.
into the files. You'll find there's a rad video of Alan shredding a pool. And when I saw that, Alan, I thought it was Steve Caballero. And then I noticed it was you. I'm like, damn, dude, you could ride.
Yeah, that's the biggest compliment. No, Louis Guerrero, not Mongo pusher. No.
What is Mongo pusher?
It's when you push with your front foot. Like,
Oh, and your back foot stays on.
yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to go there. I have a lot. There's maybe because I skateboarded for so long, but there were a lot of things that people did that like I had just hate for, and Mongo pushing was one of them. And
Was
like,
one of
yeah. Anyway, sorry. You're in the hot seat. Number 3.
Yes, number 3. I just want to add to that, Luis, that Mongo pushing was probably awesome for the folks that wanted to do those no complies. Remember those back then?
No, it's
Moving forward, Mongo pushing no more. Okay, the third thing that I'm grateful for is I'm gonna go to the community side of mountain biking, and And I feel like the community is it's more than it's more than I would have ever known had I not been a mountain biker. I don't know. Um, there's something special about rolling up to, say, Greer, for example, and you can pretty much make a new friend each time you go out there or
Mm,
out to a ride. It's easy to talk to other people. Everyone's kind of in that same mentality. Everyone, like you said earlier, everyone does the suffer to get up to the top, but everyone has that goal of getting down to the bottom. And not everybody wants to get on an elevator just to get to the goal, to get to the bottom. They want to take that journey. They want to ride and enjoy the journey to that final goal, which is safely at the bottom. But they want to do all the rad stuff in between.
mm,
And I think that energy and that like mindedness creates a community that's just easy to bond with.
yeah,
And I love it. I absolutely love it.
totally. I was talking with Lee Donovan about that, about how mountain bikers have this kind of we have this the suffer gene and or like the struggle gene maybe is the right way to put it, where it's like we appreciate the climb to the top. We appreciate rugged terrain and negotiating technical, climbs and descents. Like we like it to be hard. Like we don't want it to be easy. Like if we wanted it to be easy, we would have like skinny tires and be on like flat pavement and just like cruising along. We'd go do like like down at the beach. Nothing
Mm-hmm.
wrong with that, but
Beach
like
cruising, yeah.
beach cruising and people do that, and even there's I know mountain bikers that do it, but we like the challenge, and I think we all have that in common.
Do you think that us as mountain bikers and as a whole, do you think that I don't want to say breed, but do you think that mentality of mountain biker, if you were to analyze a lot of them, I mean, I've met so many mountain bikers, and this is where I'm trying to go to this place with this, is that so many mountain bikers, when they embrace the suck, they do something really tough to be able to enjoy something later. I've noticed that a lot of them seem to be high performers at whatever it is that they do off the bike. Do you notice that?
Hmm. I don't know. Because there's a lot of people that I've ridden with that I don't know off trail really. Like I don't know what they're like off trail. What I will say though is I think mountain biking is self-selecting. I don't know if you remember your first ride, but like if you were riding with somebody else, you were most likely the slowest person in the bunch. So you were struggling and suffering, and there was also like you're not the coolest guy or lady in the group. And
Right?
then on the descents, you were also the slowest person, and you were scared, and it was hard, and maybe you even crashed, or at least you were feared for your life, half the time.
Yeah. Brake pump. You're like, I can't even brake because my arms hurt so much.
Right. So like describe that to somebody. Okay, hey, we're gonna go do something. Okay, and you're gonna suffer. It's gonna be hard, and when we get to the thing we want to do, the thing we really want to do, it's gonna be scary. You might get hurt. It might, uh, you know, it's gonna be scary, and it's gonna be hard and rugged and whatnot. And then we're gonna suffer some more on the way up the hill and so on. I'm like, do you wanna go do that? So I think like
Yeah.
the person who goes, I was actually talking with who was I talking with was we were talking about um was it Shane the Crashing Dad and the Outsider MTB. We were talking about how you'll anyway I don't remember who it was, but we were talking about how like I've seen people at Snow Summit and they're getting in line for the lift and they've got the crappiest bike.
Oh
They're
yes. This
they
this
have
was the
like
episode. Yeah.
yeah, and they have
Outsider.
like yeah, okay. And then they have like the wrong gear. They just totally have the wrong gear. Top to head to toe, bike, everything, the wrong gear. They still let them up the lift and they go down going green and maybe they crash and they're bleeding and they just had a really rough time coming down and they start mountain biking. like that's their first experience with mountain biking, and a year later you see them with a full suspension bike and the Fox whatever, with the like pro frame helmet, the whole thing, you know like
Hmm.
that's what you see, and I find that really really interesting, and that's
Yeah.
what I mean by it's self-selecting.
That is interesting because yeah, when you explain it to somebody and they're like, "Heck no!" And oh, by the way, this is how much a good bike costs. Like, wait, what? I'll just go outside and punch myself in the face for free. But you're right. Yeah, there's a mentality there. I saw a meme and it had a mountain biker going OTB,
Hmm.
and I think the fork on the bike was coming off. The guy was on his back, and the back tire looked like it was like getting ready to come off the rim, and it said, "Oh, you play football? That's cute." And it's just stuff like that. It's funny.
Yeah,
Trail Dogs, this is perfect. Trail Dogs MTB. If you have to work for something, it's more enjoyable than if you're handed it.
yeah,
Man, so true.
I guess. I
It
mean,
depends on what you're being handed.
that's true, but like, talk to me about Snow Summit, man. Like,
Oh, you
I
mean
don't know.
like being able to take the lift up?
Yeah. I mean, but I know, I get what you're saying. Like getting good, like even if you take the lift up, like getting good at descending, you have to work for that. Like that doesn't come for free. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean hitting every feature. I mean that's a
Or
whole
just or just riding down, like
yeah.
just riding down the mountain, making it down.
I know. I've got two wheels and this is a mountain. And it okay, we're going.
Yeah.
Gons, oh, 1973. That hurt and scared the shit out of me. I need more of that in my life. Hooked for life.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, man. So true. It's definitely an interesting concept and thought process. But how crazy is it that something so gnarly can be so addicting?
Right.
In a good way. Trail
Right.
Dogs MTB Summit. You work on the downhill.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Okay, so those were the three. Did we do all three of those already, Alan? Are
Yeah.
we through that? Dang, man. Okay, here we go. The next questions is, and for those of you listening in at home, Gons, Trail Dogs, Luis, Obi-Wan, Tody, feel free to chime in as well. What do you think will be most remembered from 2020? And remember, this is a grateful episode, so it can't be a negative thing because that'd be too easy. What do you think 2020 will be most remembered as? Something good.
Like a good thing from 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think TikTok dances. Like there was so like everybody like I somehow never did a TikTok dance, but like holy moly, like did that like explode, like, and I say that I it's funny, but it's also like it was perfect, right? Like because you could be at home, you could be in your living room or your kitchen or whatever, and you could do a TikTok dance and find this way of like interacting with other people. That's
Yeah.
one thing, I guess. That was the thing
2020.
that came to the top of my head.
2020, the year of TikToks. You heard it
Yeah.
here, folks. First from MTB Alan. Obi-Wan Tony got you some
There you
dancing
go.
emojis there. Man, I'm gonna say we're gonna shout out to Adam Rosales first. I just got into this about 3 weeks ago. Wow, good job, buddy. And I'm
Wow.
nonstop watching your guys' videos. Oh, dude, thank you,
Nice. Welcome
man.
to the sport, Adam.
Yeah, welcome to the
Yeah, you're in for
sport.
a good ride.
Definitely. So check out a lot of MTB Allen's videos. He's got a lot of good stuff for folks that are just starting out. So there's some good content there. Trail Dogs MTB says, I'm thankful for the amount of stoke that has been brought to the trails by new riders. Ooh, 2020, the year of the
Hmm.
stoke. That's so
Hey,
true.
when did you start again? Tell me
I,
one
d-
more time.
I'm a COVID rider as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, that's what it that in the
yeah,
mountain bike community, that's what it'll
yeah.
be. It'll be the COVID
The
riders.
COVID riders. That was my answer.
Dude, that's it.
That-
That's what. Oh, it is really. Is that what? Yeah.
that's what I was gonna say. Well, I have another one that I could say. It was just like, everybody being able to, here's the cliche word, pivot. All corporations are saying you have to pivot, but I honestly, I really enjoyed being able to work from home more, and having the ability to kind of see what happens here at the household and be here to help out and see my family more often. As much as it was tough in some parts of the day, it's also time that we'll never get back, and I think we were all gifted that in 2020. So I don't know what they would call that, the 2020, the year of working from home.
Yeah, the WFH.
Yeah.
It's funny. Like, I don't remember if this was like a broad survey or if it was a question asked to a lot of the kids at my wife's school. But when asked about that sort of thing, most of the kids were happier to be around their parents.
Really?
Like they were all like stoked on that.
That's very
Like
cool.
a lot of them like obviously like missed like going to school and seeing all their friends and stuff, but they all were really appreciative of like being around their parents. So yeah.
Oh wow, that's something that came out.
Maybe
Wow.
2020 will be remembered for all the Zoom calls, not just Zoom calls, but Zoom calls that involved pets and children.
Pets and children, and how many times probably the phrase, "Hey, you're on mute. You're on mute."
Or what's worse is you're not on mute.
Flush.
Phil, will you mute yourself, please?
That's so
my
true,
God.
man. That could be a whole T-shirt thing that we.
I was
Are
in a meeting once. Sorry, I was a little tangent. I was in a meeting once where there was like, it was like a basically like a massive presentation that was given to like, well, that was going to be given to the whole company. So, they would do like a couple of hundred people or 100 people at a time calling into one thing, right? And somebody called in, and they called in using their phone,
Oh no.
didn't realize their camera was on,
Oh
and they
no.
were like in bed, like day drinking, like in bed. And I sent them a private message, and I was like, "Hey, buddy, your camera's on." I had no idea who this person was. They were like in a different state, and I was like, "Hey, buddy, your camera's on." And then like 2 seconds later, you see the phone being fumbled around. He can't figure out how to turn off his camera, and then like he like just covered his camera with his thumb. He never was able to figure out how to turn off his camera, because if you turn off your camera, your avatar shows up.
Yeah.
So his
Right.
screen was just like black the whole time.
It's like a thumbprint the whole time.
Oh, that was great.
Pajamas and drinks and thumbprints.
I was like, yeah, maybe, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and assume that he was on the East Coast and it was after 5 where he
Yeah.
was at. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
They did say sales went through the roof of alcohol when we first got in the pandemic.
Oh,
So
yeah,
who
I'm sure.
who knows what time it was.
Sure.
That's a pretty good one. Oh my god. Obi-Wan Tody, I'm stoked on my new common salt dirt jumper. Dude, look at you, man.
Nice.
That
See,
is
that's what I want. That's what I want next is a DJ, because I want to do that. I want to do that.
Yeah, that
My buddy that I used to ride with, my first riding, like actually my second riding buddy, he got a BMX bike, and literally like got a BMX bike, rode for like 2 weeks on his BMX bike at like the local skate park, and the next time I rode with him, different rider. Like
really.
I was like, who are you, and how do I get what you got?
Wow, dirt jumper DJ skills.
Yeah.
DJ skills. Gonzo, 1973. The year people discovered how important family and friends are. The small things we take for granted, we all realize how important they are. Man,
Yeah.
preach it, dude. That is so true.
Yeah.
The good stuff. I mean, I feel like we were made for more of this type of living. And maybe it'll continue on even after the pandemic, hopefully. We'll see. Be great if we had a choice. Luis is laughing with us.
Yeah.
Adam Rosales, here we go. I'm looking to buy my first MTB bike. Do I spend $5K for one or go lower on the price range and upgrade later? I'm concerned I'm going to buy too much bike. Looking to hit Sky Park, Summit, and some. What do you think, Alan? For
If it's your very first mountain bike,
yeah, he
so
started 3 weeks
Adam's
ago.
started 3 weeks ago. I'm curious what you were riding 3 weeks ago, like how you started 3 weeks ago without a mountain bike. Um, but I think in general, if I can generalize the question for somebody looking to get into mountain biking to buy their first mountain bike, I would suggest getting a relatively modern, and that means like within the last 5 to 7 years, hardtail. Now, the reason for the hardtail is not necessarily because I think people need to learn the skills of a hardtail. I think you can learn what you need to learn on a full suspension bike. But um, if you, okay, got it. Sweet. Well, happy to be of service. That's
Yeah,
rad.
that's rad.
But the hardtail makes it so that you have less stuff to set up. Like you just have a fork to set up, and then you have like one pressure to set, and then you get to learn all about rebound. And ideally, you get a something that has a pretty simple fork that has like high speed rebound and just a lockout switch. That I think that's a great place to start. And if you get something relatively modern, it'll have good geometry, and geometry is key with a mountain bike. Like that will change any mountain bike. You can get a hardtail that's a an XC hardtail that has like a steep head tube angle, and that's not going to be as fun to ride as something that's a little bit more slacked out. So that's what I would suggest. They're also going to be way less in price. What I would look for on the hardtail is a fork, obviously an air fork. And if you get something from a bike shop or something that's 5 to 7 years old, it's going to have these things. But a fork that is obviously air sprung and has at least one adjustment on it, right? And then a one by drivetrain, which means you don't have a shifter up front. You just have a single chain ring up front. And then after that, it's really just kind of something that's uh, relatively modern. And then ideally, honestly, like, and these are a little bit like out of style these days, but a plus size hardtail can actually be a really nice way to get into it because it gives you a little bit more damping on the trail. It like mellows it out a little bit, and it's a little bit more forgiving. So yeah, that's what I would say.
That's great advice. I mean, I hear a lot of great writers like you say the
Oh,
same
sorry.
thing. Oh, yep.
The other thing is it's easier to get a hardtail used because there's less things that are going to go wrong with it, right? When you have a full suspension bike, usually the thing that is blown is the shock. And if you don't know anything about full suspension, actually, there's people who ride full suspensions all the bike and full suspension bikes all the time, and will blow their shock and not know it. So you can end up spending a bunch of money on a full suspension bike and not realize that your suspension is screwed. So, yeah.
Man.
Anyway,
Yeah, there you go, Adam. And a lot of folks of Alan's caliber of writing and tenure of writing will say the same thing, that a hardtail is where you're really going to learn how to ride that bike through the different terrain that we have out here and navigating rock gardens and reading lines the right way, because that hardtail will really help teach you
Hard,
what
it will
feels good and what doesn't.
punish you for choosing the wrong line.
Yeah, yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
My man, Joe Duarte, here we go. You can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning.
that's right.
Joe.
That's right. Can't drink all day.
High
Start in
cal.
the morning.
Speaking of high caliber folks, Joe Duarte is the CEO of a medical company and is also a ripper on the trail. Does the same suffer and everything, but just a high caliber person, but also was a high caliber athlete if you guys follow mixed martial arts at all, if you look up Joe Duarte, you look in the UFC or Strikeforce, you'll see him and all of his fights. And he was actually really smart. He set himself up with a good exit plan and didn't even have to cash out those last 2 fights. He was able to retire early. Super good guy though. What's up, Joe Duarte? Thanks for being
Wait, John W. says Alan was posted up on my bullet.
What
Was
is
that yours,
this?
John? That's awesome. That's so funny. Yes, I was 100. Okay, this is great. I'm glad you brought that up because it's funny that you're in the chat and that was your bike. I did a total trolling post today where I was down at the Path Bike Shop
Alan.
and I saw one of the mechanics like rolling around on the new Santa Cruz Bullet, which looks like an amazing bike. It's have you seen that bike yet, Mark?
I've seen pictures of it, and is this alluding to what you may be revealing upon your?
No, I'm not revealing.
No,
it.
nothing. No, on your show at some point.
Yeah, at some point. But that thing's rad. Like, if I were gonna buy a e-bike, that's probably the one I would get. Just because it's like it's first of all it's mulleted, and yeah, it just looks rad. But I saw the mechanic like rolling around on it, and I was waiting for like the bike shop to take care of some stuff. And I was like, "Hey, do you mind if I take a picture sitting on the bike? Because I want to do a troll." Oh, it's not your bullet. Okay, John W says it wasn't his bullet.
Oh, it wasn't his. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, did a post, and it was just the post was just like a battery and then some hashtags. Yeah. And the comments were great. People were going crazy about it.
That's funny. Oh, good one, John. How crazy is that? It's awesome that he's on here. Dennis Cortez, here we go. I'm starting to see more e-bikes on the trails. Will you be one of them, passing me on the climbs, Mr. Allen?
No, not anytime soon. Those things are not cheap. It's also, I think for a lot of us, it's hard to make it your only bike. Like if you're the kind of person like me who only really ever has one bike, I'd find it hard to make that work.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. And so this isn't really from well, there's the thing about there's a lot of trails that I couldn't take it on that I'd want to ride. But like just hearing people talk about them on certain podcasts and whatnot, like I was listening to the Path podcast, and I know like at least 2 of the 3 hosts of that podcast have really gotten into e-mountain bikes. And they were talking about how like they like it for certain things. They love it for certain things, but they often will switch back to their acoustic bike. So I think it's the kind of thing where it's almost like, for me, it's like a DH bike where like I couldn't just have a DH bike. It would need to be the other bike. Yeah. So
that makes sense.
Anyway,
that makes sense.
So yeah, not anytime soon.
Alan and I were at Vail, and a gentleman with an e-bike came up behind Alan and gave him a tow as we were climbing.
Yeah.
It literally, it was like 4 seconds maybe, where he put his hand on your back and towed you up the hill. I mean, that was about the length of a football field.
Dude, I tripped. That was Chris Byers. Chris Byers on a Santa Cruz Heckler. He pushed me, and I was like, "Wow, this is great." I was like, "Wee, this is fun." And I was like, and I turned around to talk to you, Mark.
I know.
And I was like, "Oh my God!" He was like 100 yards behind me in a moment. I was like, "Okay, yeah, these are not what I thought they were."
Yeah, you're like, so that's what it's like. I was fully jelly because that 100 yards I had to embrace the suck all the way up that 100 yards just to catch up to you.
I did wait for you.
Oh man, you're always waiting for me though.
I should make a note. If my camera goes black, it's because I'm using my high-end camera right now, and it's using batteries. So if it goes black, there'll be a moment, and I just need to switch batteries. So
okay,
don't worry.
You got it. Gon says e-bike pricing will be what you want within the next 3 to 5 years. I don't
Yeah,
know. What do you
probably.
think? That'd be kind of nice.
I don't know. It's funny. Yeah, we could have a whole conversation on e-bikes, but I don't know if you want to stray into that with
Yeah.
our desire to talk about gratitude and what we're looking
Yeah.
forward to and stuff like that.
Maybe those e-bikers they feel the gratitude after they spend the money when
Yeah.
they're passing us on the hill.
Yeah. Yeah, I will say I went and rode the luge last weekend for Kelly's birthday weekend, and there were quite a few mountain bikers cruising up that climb. I don't know if anybody here in the chat has done the luge, but the climb is significant.
Yeah. It's is that the biggest? Is that a long downhill, one of the longest downhills in Southern California, or no?
No, no, it's not.
It's
It's
just
it's
a big
it's
climb.
kind of weird because the luge, like, you do a bunch of climbing, but you only get a portion of that, like maybe half of the descent you get
Huh.
on like single track on the luge. I mean, the luge is like it's an adrenaline rush. It is like it's one of those trails where um you just you're on your brakes. You have to be on your brakes like almost the whole way down because if you
Jeez.
let off your brakes at all, like the amount of speed that you gain is like so fast.
Wow.
But it is definitely like it's worth it. It's kind of funny because like a lot of the times when I do the luge, I'm like climbing and I'm going like I know how short the ride is. Like, is
Hmm.
this worth it? Like, do I want to do this again? And I get to the bottom. I get to the parking lot to my truck, and we're like cracking like bubbly drinks, and I'm like, have it was just like that was so fun. And then I forget about the climb, and then like, you know, a month later, we're like, hey, you guys want to do the luge? It's
That
so funny.
answers Louis' question. Is it worth the climb? Okay, going back to the gratitude questionnaire. Here we go. If you had one wish for 2021, what would it be?
Um,
And it
more
doesn't have to be
traveling,
okay.
more
Beautiful.
traveling. I mean, yeah, more traveling, riding newer places. Like, I want to hit, um, you know, sorry, whoa, the name just totally, I just totally lost the name. Um, in
Okay.
Washington, uh, like Galbraith is there. Why can't I think of the name? But yeah, Washington, Utah, Squamish,
Ooh.
like
Ooh.
just all those places, like Colorado. That's what I want to do, and of course Sedona.
Yeah.
And okay, but if you want a specific wish,
Yeah. Prioritize.
if
Like, give
if
me the
if
one,
if,
one and two.
if I had the mountain bike genie, right, that came out of a Stan's bottle, if I rubbed the Stan's bottle and the mountain bike genie came out, and I only had one wish because my wife took the other two. Uh,
Happy birthday, Kelly.
Happy birthday, Kelly. Is I would wish for the Sedona Mountain Bike Festival to happen in 2021.
Oh, so many people just said, "Yeah, Alan." So I haven't been, but I've heard about it and I've seen video. Like, what is that festival all about? And obviously, what's it like? But why do they even have it? What is it?
That part I like how and why and whatnot. I can't really answer, but all I know is that everybody that I've talked to who have been to multiple mountain bike festivals, they all say that it is the best one. Then they tell me the fact that that's the first one I went to is like that kind of like spoils me. So most
Wow.
mountain bike festivals, you have all the vendors there. You have demos, so it's really easy to like go give them, throw somebody your driver's license and a credit card and take a bike out. Uh, and but there's just like great riding right there. You can like roll out of the parking lot, and there's a trail system pedalable distance away, and then they also have like vans that shuttle you. So you can go and ride like all these other trails, and I'm sure you've seen stuff like Highline and
Mm-hmm.
Hogs and
Yeah.
Slim Shady and all those kind of things, and the whole trail system around Grand Junction and all that stuff. Like that's amazing. But but a lot of mountain bike festivals are like that. But from what I understand, the difference with Sedona is how low key it is.
Hmm.
Like everybody just has a way lower stress level, and this has a lot to do with like the people that set it up. um
Really? Wow.
they just it's much like more community oriented. A lot of group rides, like, so a lot of YouTubers will be out there doing group rides, as well as your high level athletes will be out there doing group rides.
Wow.
It's just amazing, so you get beautiful scenery, amazing riding, and riding unlike anywhere else in the world. Really good culture, all the vendors, and just coolness. Yeah.
Yeah. And I took a picture when I was at Sedona's bike park, and you had told me like that's where the mountain bike festival is when it's
Yeah. Oh,
there,
yeah.
right?
And there's like a little mini bike park, like right there. Like, so,
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody saw like my first ride on the 510 mid pros, the trail cross mid pros. Yeah. Like I could demo shoes, which was weird and kind of awesome, but you could just get something and then like just literally like 45 seconds away drop into a trail,
Yeah.
and hit jumps and technical stuff, and yeah, and it's just like it's right there.
Yeah, that place is awesome. Man, that's a good wish that the Sedona Mountain Bike Festival in 21 would happen. Do you think there's a chance?
There's a chance, I mean, but it would have to, like, it normally happens in like March, February or March. I think in March. Yeah, that's when I was there, because I think February was when I was like riding like Sky Park with like BCPOV and Yuka. That was like
Hmm.
February. And then I think it was March, yeah, because it was like right before lockdown. It was like the last bike event that happened before lockdown.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. That was interesting that you say that because I was just listening to your podcast when you talked about that. I think with was it the Crashing Dad? It
Uh-huh.
was your latest one when you were saying like, man, things are locking down. Should I go? Should I not? But
Hmm.
it wasn't yet at the levels that it is now. And you're
Yeah.
like, I better go because this might be the last trip of the year.
Yeah.
You know. So,
Yeah.
and that's a great wish. Um,
What about
I
you?
would,
What's your one wish of the year
man,
sorry, one wish for 2021?
2021, I would say. Well, I do love the Stan's genie, so definitely would
Can
rub
I hand
that
you the
and then
bottle?
let I rub that and okay, Abby, you take those two wishes and I'll get one. But mine is mine's kind of cliche in a sense. I just don't want anybody to get sick anymore. I'm gonna wish COVID away.
No, 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 you can't do that, because like we got the vaccine coming. Like
That's true.
you don't need to spend your wish on that. Like that's
That's
gonna come.
true.
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't want to wish for money. I would say I would say that you know how everything has an opposite. So 2020 for a lot of people was horrible. For a lot of us lucky ones, 2020 was good. And I would just wish that the opposite would occur in 21, that a majority of people would experience the happiness that they maybe lost in 2020. That's
Well,
I'd spend my wish on
that's
that.
that's really sweet of you, but I think you're ducking this. Come
Am I
on.
ducking it?
Yeah, come on.
Okay.
It's very sweet, but the genie can't give you such a general wish. The genie will end up
Yeah.
giving you some. You have to be specific. You got to be careful with genies, because if you're not specific,
It won't
like it's
be
that
as
thing, like ever like the X Files, where like Mulder like wishes for peace on Earth,
yeah.
and she makes all the humans go away.
Right. It's something that you don't want, so it has to be specific to
Yeah,
be terrific. Okay, I'm thinking of it. I am in the hot seat. Man, I feel the sweat on my back. I feel it. Gon says, I used to go to Interbike every year. I want Sedona to be my
Gons,
MTB
he's
first.
using you right now. He's stalling.
Here
Look at
we
him
go.
just using you, Gons.
Joe,
Here we
Joe,
go. Hey,
Joe
Joe. Hey, Joe.
Duarte.
Give us something to stall here with. Come on.
He says,
Come on, Mark. You guys, okay, everybody, if you want him to answer this, give me some pineapples. Pineapples in the comments for
pineapple
Mark to
comments.
have to answer this.
God, here comes a
Be
bunch of
specific.
pineapples. It's loading the system. I'm not even gonna post them all. Look at all those pineapples coming in.
Blocking the
Jeez,
pineapples.
it's a funnel of pineapples. Okay, okay. So MTB Alan says he wishes that the festival would go on. I love that. I wish for 21 to be able to go ride up in BC. That there you go, because that would be because right now we can't even get there,
Right.
and I would love to do
Any
an
particular place?
international. Um, I saw a video that your buddy Tony did on the Outsider channel where he went to, I think it's called, is it Top of the World?
That's in Whistler.
Is it Whistler? Okay, so Whistler. I don't even know where I don't even know where I'm going, but I would love to
Dude.
go there. That'd be a
Yes.
bucket list.
I will tell you, you should. I have not been to Whistler, but you should wish to go to Whistler.
Yes, love. I'd love to do that. There we go. Aaron, are you happy? Are you happy? We're going to Whistler, everybody. Let's go to Whistler. Joe Duarte is gonna hit A line while we're up there.
There you go.
Thank you, John.
go.
There's another pineapple coming in. John says 2021 needs you guys to keep putting out good content. These videos and conversations keep people sane during all the COVID drama. Yeah, you gotta laugh, you gotta smile.
Yeah.
How can you not love Alan's face? Look at that face.
I get. It's funny you say that, John, about helping the content keeping people sane. I think I don't know about you, Mark, but for me, like making the content is part of what kept me sane.
Yeah.
Hey, hang on just a second.
Yeah, we got a visitor. Yeah, content, good content is fun, especially when it's just genuine, fun stuff. Because man, you turn on the news and there's just so much stuff out there that's negative. Here's our visitor. This one wants to go down A line too.
Yeah. Good one. Yeah, Trail Dog saying Wismus 2021. Yeah.
Christmas 2021. All right, Alan. I know we have a hard stop at 8:00, so gonna try to hammer through some of these questions here. And okay, this one's kind of an off the wall one. Are you ready? And folks at home, chime in what your answers would be too. If you could pick one superpower, what would it be and why?
I hate this one. I never know. It's hard for me to think like this, honestly. Like,
Limitless. Anything's possible.
yeah, I don't.
We got the genie bottle out.
It's so hard, because it always like kind of flies in the face of like how I think of things. Like we were talking about earlier about like how we appreciate the struggle, how we, and that's like the stuff that we work for, the things that we appreciate. And I feel like the superpower is like often a way to get around that. But the first thing I kind of thought of was like the ability to like duplicate myself for a moment or for like periods of time. Because there's like so much stuff that I want to do, like I work a day job, right? So I'm like working 40, or 40 plus hours a week. And I love the YouTube channel. I love making the content and all the interactions, and all that takes time. And if, I don't want to like try to mess with time travel or time bending, because that's just it's too little bit weird. But if I could like duplicate myself, and have like a version of myself that could like edit while I was doing my day job or something like that, like that would maybe be cool.
That would be cool.
But yeah, but one of us would always be like the controller, and then the other one like would have to go away when the main one says the other one should go away, because I don't want duplicity going on, because that's just that could get weird.
Yeah, you don't want the other one to take over and be like, who's this guy? It's Editor Alan.
Yeah, yeah.
He's
Oh man, I
back.
guess I have that, huh?
You do.
That
Yeah, but
freaking guy.
that's amazing how you do that. So some frames are so tight in there, like your elbows are very close
Yeah.
together.
Trail Dog says, Trail Dog MTB says teleportation. That's a good one too. Like the ability to just like jump out of wherever you're
Boom.
working and get to the top of a trail. Yeah, we were
Yeah.
kind of talking about that. Like that would be like better than an e-bike is to just like just be at the top of the
Boom.
trail.
Yeah. Text your buddy. Hey man, meet you at Greer. There. Like
Yeah,
already there. You know.
yeah.
Oh, I forgot my bike. I'll get my bike. I'm back. Joe Duarte says, predict the future. Hey, you know?
I don't like that one.
No? What if there's bad news? What do you do? Like, you got to have a good poker face, Joe, to be like, why are you looking at me weird? Joe, what's going to happen to
It's
me?
one of those things though. It's like if you knew what's happening in the future, would that affect what you do now? And then does the future then change?
That's
Because if
pretty
because
deep. I don't.
because like if you're like okay, predict the future, and if I go down this trail, I'm gonna crash, and then you decide to go down another trail, but now that's no longer your future. So which future were you looking at
he
until
said,
you?
he
Yeah,
says,
I don't
he
know.
says, if you can predict it, you can change it.
Right, but if you can change it, can you predict it?
I don't. I'm in a loop, you
Hmm?
guys. My head. Gonzo, 1973, invincibility healing. Oh, we lost Alan. His battery is either dead or he was done with the show.
I switched to my crappy camera. There you go.
He says healing. I'm 18 months healing from an accident. Hope I get to ride again.
Oh, I feel you, Gons. Yeah, I would. Yeah, that would be a good superpower.
That
The
would
ability
be.
to heal. I mean like yourself, but in general. So when your buddy breaks something, you can just like and then
Yeah.
heal them. That would be
Wolver-
a good superpower.
Wolverine
Like,
them right back up.
yeah, Wolverine has to keep it all to himself. Like
Oh, I know. He can't share it. Who
he can't
does
share
that?
it. Shareable healing power.
That was the guy from the who was it, guys? The Green Mile. Was it the Green Mile? Dead Man
I've not.
Walking.
I have not seen that movie. Not Dead Man Walking. It was
Yeah. The butterfly effect. There you go. There you go.
what about it?
Okay, so I would say that mine
What
would
people are
be
just putting random things.
Luis, can you expand? I think the butterfly effect means he can share his healing.
The
We've
uncertainty
lost the podcast. We've lost the podcast, folks. The wheels have fallen off. I would say he says yeah. He says
Where?
yep,
Yep.
yep, yep.
What
Yeah.
about it?
So
What about?
being
Yep.
able to heal other people. Yep.
That's not the
Butterfly
butterfly
effect. A butterfly flaps its wing
and
and then
heals you.
somehow and it affects other people somehow.
The healing, a healing butterfly that comes with you, like, just like, ah,
Not enough time. Not enough time.
John W. with
We
the
got a
pineapple.
pineapple. This is the best.
Just
Awesome.
random.
That was perfect, John.
That's great. Yeah.
Man, I would say my superpower. I don't even know if it's a superpower now. We got butterflies flapping and stuff. I'd say it would be to be able to speak and understand all the different languages.
Oh,
So,
that's a good one.
yeah, that way I could be anywhere and be like, yeah, hey, what's up? And talk to many different types of people and, find my way to the El Baño if I need to.
There you go. Yeah. Green Mile.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, Green Mile. Green Mile. That was
Oh,
a
maybe
good
I'll
one.
watch the Green Mile tonight.
It's a goodie. No spoiler alerts, but it's just know that, grab a tissue. It's good stuff.
Yeah, that's why I
Okay.
haven't watched it yet. I
Why?
will cry. I will cry
Are
like
you
in a
are you a
movie.
crier?
You know what? I can't. I hate Disney films. I hate Disney films because I will be crying in the first like Mulan.
Uh-huh.
Like Yeah, was it Mulan? Was that the one? But I know like Up. Oh my God! Don't like when I watched Up, I was like dying. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I already knew what was gonna happen at that first sequence. Yeah,
Mm,
and
that's
Disney in
hard.
general, man, they do some
I
weird stuff. But
They
yeah,
know how to play the heartstrings. That's for sure. Um, in Disney, we're talking in a good way, so don't sue me. This is good stuff, Disney.
oh man, if they were doing that, I would already be sued into the grave by
I,
now.
you know what's funny? I don't know how many of us that are on the show tonight are parents, but I used to be like, okay, not that bad. But as soon as I became a father, any little emotional movie, it just gets me. I'm like, oh, I can't take it.
Man, so I used to work with severely emotionally disturbed children in a facility. It was a nice facility. It sounds terrible to say facility, but it was a pretty nice facility. And like these kids we're not allowed to be with their parents. Like like horror stories of like what these parents did to these kids.
Mm,
Um and like the Disney movies, like they loved them.
mm,
Like, because like every Disney movie has to do with like the loss of a parent usually. That's usually
yeah.
kind of where they start.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so they all just kind of like loved it. Like
Mm,
they just they all really connected to it. And it's like at least for them, like it was always really great. Because I remember like we would like be watching them with the kids, because that's a lot of times what we would do in the evening, to just kind of like mellow everybody out. But like sometimes we'd be the us counselors would be talking about like, man, like how are they like are they processing this okay? And like, but it always seemed okay. Anyway, that
so
was just like random story from my past about what I
no,
used to do.
that's cool that you did that work. Those type of those situations and those folks need people like that. That's awesome. Really, really awesome. Um, Alan, I know we're up on time, so let's just. I have one final question, and
Sure.
everybody who's in the audience, go ahead and chime in as well. The question is this: we all can think of something we hated about 2020, but what is the one thing you miss the most that you're looking forward to the most in 21 when we can do it?
Um I think just being able to like see another human being and just interact with them without having to like do the 6 foot shuffle,
Mm,
you
yeah.
know? Always trying to like, you kind of have to gauge, where what people are comfortable with. And and I feel like when you're interacting with somebody, I'm like taking the environment into account. I'm like, are we outside? Is it windy? How close of quarters are we? And like taking all that stuff into account. Like there's just this kind of like layer of caution in every interaction I feel that we have with anybody that's outside of like our little inner circle.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like having that kind of layer removed. Um, yeah, I think that would be great. I think that would just kind of, yeah.
Yeah, I think you speak for a lot of us when you say that. What's up, Vegas Mike? Good to see you, buddy. We are just talking about gratitude and things of 2020 to be thankful for, and putting Alan and I both in the hot seat on a few things. We just asked Alan what would he most look forward to in 21 when everything is back to normal, and he said pretty much being able to go and communicate, talk to people, meet people face to face, and not have to worry about all the different elements of caution like we have to right now. Yeah, yeah, that's a good one, Alan.
What about
I
yours?
I would say you know what I really miss. I was thinking about that earlier, and I miss a good. I don't know if you guys know who Michael Franti, the artist, is. He's a musician.
Hmm.
Michael Franti's got some positive, super cool lyrics, and he's just a fun guy to go see. I
Hmm.
miss that. I miss being at a concert where you have that group energy, where you just walk
Hmm.
in and you're right there with everybody. You're in the mix, and everyone is tuned in to whatever song it's playing, whatever that is, and you just are riding that energy with everybody else. I miss that, and I really can't wait to be able to do that again. That's going to
Yeah.
be great. I'm looking forward to that. Vegas Mike says, I'm looking forward to not wondering if a place is closed or open.
Yeah.
Yeah. So true, man.
Yeah.
So
You know,
true.
it's funny. I agree with that. At the same time, there's something about it. I don't want to get preachy, okay? But I'm gonna get preachy right now. I'm sorry, Mark.
Oh, buckle up, everybody. Here it comes.
Buckle up, everybody. Buckle up, because here comes my spiel. If a lot of people that have grown up in the United States and don't know anything different, you don't realize how good we have it. How there are so many places in the world where a lot of this kind of stuff is kind of normal, you know. Talking about like a restaurant being open or closed. I think about like the about 7 months I spent in India where you couldn't depend on the electricity always being on. And when it went off, you didn't know when it was going to come back. And this was like, I was like in Delhi, like I was in like North Delhi, major metropolitan city. And you could, depending on what neighborhood you were in, you couldn't depend on those things. And you couldn't necessarily depend on a shop being there, like the place you went to go buy your vegetables or whatever. Like, like there just wasn't the level of dependency that we have. And I think like a lot of us in America are really, we just don't know. Like we've been really, really privileged and had like really good lives. I mean, there's no doubt that there's a range. There's a lot of poverty in the United States, just as there is elsewhere. But there's a lot of these just kind of like base facilities, base infrastructure things that we kind of take for granted. And even though those things are still kind of there, things like, not knowing if you can just, hey, let's go out to eat. Like you have to think about it now and you have to like wonder. These are things that we've all taken for granted. And I hope that like a lot of us can take some appreciation for that into, as things start to open back up, as the vaccine gets out there more. And we can maybe remember some of that. I don't know how many of us will remember, but like just kind of knowing these, I think like, yeah, I know I've appreciated it, like having gone to other countries, and even like, and we're not even talking about like developing countries, right? Because like going to Bangladesh or India, like into developing economies, it's one thing. But like I remember when I was in Paris I was like in Paris for a month, and you couldn't like, depending on what protest or strike was going on, it was usually a strike. Like you didn't always know. Like I remember being like across the city, and you can always depend on the metro unless the metro workers decide to strike. And now you can't get home,
Yeah.
you know. And like there was like all that kind of like instability that happens a lot of other places in the world that like we actually are starting to experience now. And I think a lot of people forget that we're only a couple hundred years old. Like in America is like we're like a teenager, like in terms of our development. We're not even that. We're probably like pre-teenager in terms of our development as a nation. And I think we kind of forget that we're an amazing country, but I think like it's good to use these as ways to kind of like appreciate what we have and what we not like what we have, but also like what we could be and what we can have. You know, it's really easy to kind of like sit on what we to forget that to get passive, when things are so comfortable. So it's kind of like the flip side of things being really good, right? So yeah. Anyway, so
Yeah.
what? Okay, so spiel over.
No, it's good.
Soapbox, soapbox
Gratitude.
over there.
Yeah, gratitude and perspective. You're right. Gratitude and perspective. It's always key to look at how and what we could be grateful for. We're very fortunate to be where we are. All of us on the show tonight, we're very, very grateful.
And then sometimes it takes something, like who was it that was talking about being injured and wishing they could have the superpower of being healing?
Was that Gons? Was that you, Gons?
Yeah, it was Gons. Yeah, like when you get hurt, like you appreciate your whatever, what that doesn't work now. You appreciate when it used to work.
So
Being able to like
true.
wipe your butt or whatever, like
Yeah.
things that
Oh,
you didn't appreciate.
yeah. Well, now I feel bad for you missing takeout
No,
margaritas.
no. See, that's a pleasure too. Like you can miss it. Like you're just gonna appreciate it more.
Yeah, totally. It sounds funny along
Oh,
the lines of
wait. Trail Dogs is going to miss taking takeout
takeout
margaritas.
margaritas.
Oh, that's great.
Now I gotta go in for this stuff.
Yeah.
Aaron, that's funny. It's true though. I mean, for all of us who've traveled, you definitely see those things. I mean, I remember coming back from travel, and actually I flew into Tijuana, and then I walked across the border, and then got in my car and drove up, and just looking at how immaculate the freeways looked, graffiti or not, in some areas, I'm like, this is amazing. Like, who cleans this? Who cleans the median? And what the heck? This is beautiful. So perspective, we're pretty fortunate.
I remember coming back from India and I had forgotten what it was like to walk on even sidewalks. Like when I would like leave my flat and I would go down to the vegetable market to go buy like my vegetables, I had this certain path I would walk down, and I remember like there was like stuff you had to step over. Sometimes there was an ox you had to watch out for, like if they're like riled up, they can kill you.
Jeez.
And then there's like traffic, and then you're just like weaving in and out, and then like you get to the vegetable market, you get your vegetables, and you go through all that coming back, and it became normal.
Wow.
And I remember like coming back to the United States and like going to walk down the street and just being like, I can just walk down the street. I don't have to step over anything or watch out for a large horned animal that's gonna like get in my way.
Try to trample me. Wow.
I mean, you do have to watch out for the person on their phone and their SUV. So like, that's
Yes.
as dangerous as an ox, but
Yeah, that's very true. On some of the trails that you have to access the road for a little bit before you dive in. It's like, ooh, who's coming behind me?
Yeah, right.
Well, Alan,
anyway.
we're up on an hour now, and I think this would be a good time. We should we'll say sayonara to 2020, and we'll get ready to say hello to 2021, for at least for the segment anyway. This will be my last podcast for the year, and I just wanted to tell everybody I felt that this was appropriate to have Alan as my final guest for 2020, because Alan was one of my first guests, but he was also the person who spurred the whole podcast side of me. So the segment wouldn't have a podcast if it wasn't for MTB Alan. So really wanted to say thank you very much and have you on the show tonight because of everything. And I also wanted to say that you've been an awesome, wonderful mentor to me. So I really appreciate you, Alan.
Thanks, man. My pleasure. And you've inspired me as well. Like you've done the things where you just kind of gone after people and asked them to be on your podcast. And I personally have been embarrassed to do that with a lot of people. And you helped me break the seal and reach out to a whole bunch of people. And honestly, like the most recent episode with, interviewing BCPOV and Crashing Dad and all that, like I probably wouldn't have done that if I hadn't watched you, doing what you're doing. So thank you.
Oh man, that's a huge compliment. I remember texting you like, I think I'm gonna reach out to some people, and then you went and got some super big YouTube celebrities. I was like, holy crap, Alan, good job. So if you guys hadn't had a chance to check out that episode, definitely check it out with Alan. And he's got a handful of just YouTube celebrity mountain bikers, and it's a really good look at their thought process on a bunch of different topics. So it's really good stuff. Luis Guerrero says, thanks, Alan. I've been MTBing. Obi-Wan Tody, God bless you guys. Yeah, you too. This guy, Obi-Wan Tody, has been on majority, if not all, of my live podcasts. And dude, you're awesome. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you to everybody. Trail Dogs, Vegas Mike, Joey Yates. God, we got everybody in the house tonight. Gons, Pacific Yeti, Joe Duarte. Sorry
happy
if I missed
holidays,
anybody.
Everybody.
Yeah, happy holidays. And happy holidays, Alan.
Yeah, happy holidays to you. Merry Christmas, I guess, right?
Christmas. Merry Christmas, Hana Kwanzaa. I've been waiting to say that.
Yeah. Yeah. Happy solstice.
Happy solstice. All right, everybody. We will see you again in 2021. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to check out MTB Alan's channel and the Airhorn podcast. You can download that anywhere you download your podcasts. Anything else, Alan, that you want to tell everybody for 2021?
Just everybody have a rad day.
There you go. Have a rad day. I love that. I love that. All right, guys. Don't forget to always bet on yourself because all that hard work will always pay off. And Alan and I will see you guys on the other side in 21. Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy
Thanks
holidays.
for being on. Woo!